Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer, and today we're here for yet another Civilization 6 Wonder Spotlight, where today we are going to take a look at a wonder that probably has a slightly controversial pronunciation based on whether or not you are French, and I'm sure if you're a native English speaker, you probably call this wonder something like Hermitage or something like that, maybe Hermitage, but I'm sure if you're French, you probably call this one Hermitage. But I'm not French, so I'm just gonna call it. Maybe I'll blend the two, and I'll go with Hermitage for the rest of this video. So sorry to all the French people out there. I'm not gonna try to, actually pronounce this one correctly. I'm just gonna go with the good old American pronunciation of it. So Hermitage is a wonder that is unlocked with the Natural History Civic. This does make it an industrial era wonder, just like a lot of the other wonders that we've talked about recently. To get the inspiration for natural history, all that you have to do is build an archaeological museum, and chances are if you're going to be building this wonder in a game, you're probably going to have a archaeological museum built by the time you get the natural history, so it's one that's very easy to get the inspiration for, just because archaeological museums, they're generally pretty good for culture victory, and I advise getting at least one in your empire if you're going for culture victory, because if nothing else, you're going to need at least a few archaeologists to get rid of some of those goofy historic sites that otherwise block other tile improvements that you could be putting on a tile if there wasn't a historic site on it. As far as the building requirements for Hermitage are concerned, they are pretty straightforward. All you have to do is put it adjacent to a river tile, and it also just cannot be on a tundra or desert tile, so it can be on either flatland or hills. Either one is fine as long as it's not tundra or desert hills. And it does have a production cost of $14.50 production as well, which is, pretty much the standard for the industrial era wonders, so it's going to take you like 30 turns in a pretty well-built city, and you're definitely at this point not going to be able to build this wonder in a city that you just founded. Let's go ahead and talk about the bonuses for Hermitage. So it has two, and that's, it doesn't sound like a lot, and it really isn't a lot, and that it will provide +3 great artist points per turn, and it will also provide +4 slots for great works of art. So both of those are just like, I don't know, they're fine, I guess. I mean, 3 great artist points per turn, like, it's okay, it's really not that much. 4 slots for great work, it's pretty cool. That's like an art museum plus 1 more, but the problem is you can't theme with Hermitage, which is something that is a little bit obnoxious, because if you theme an art museum, you get double tourism and double culture from all of the works that are inside it, but you can't do that for a wonder like Hermitage, so you just kind of get 4, non-themed great work of art slots that can be going in here, so it's a decent amount of tourism, but it really isn't all that much in the grand scheme of things. Now it is that time to give Hermitage its wonder rating, so if you're new to this series, all that you really need to know here is that these ratings go on a 1 to 5 scale, with 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. So for its overall wonder rating, I think that Hermitage deserves a 1. I think that from an objective standpoint, it is just an absolutely god-awful wonder. And, as I mentioned before when we talked about the bonuses, like, they don't seem overwhelming, but let's take a moment to go into this a little bit deeper and compare Hermitage to just a normal art museum. So Hermitage, keep in mind, has 5 times the production cost of a single art museum. And for 5 times the production, you get 1 more great work slot, you get 1 more great artist point per turn, you don't get any culture, you don't get 1 citizen slot, and you don't get 1 great writer point per turn. And you also can't theme the building. So, taking all of that into mind, you can see that for 5 times the cost, you lose out on 3 bonuses, and you get slightly better on 2 of the other bonuses. So it is just, from an objective standpoint, it is absolutely horrible, benefit for the production cost that it is. So for that reason, I think it's just objectively a terrible wonder of the game. That's not to say that I hate Hermitage and that I never build it, because honestly, I still build it quite often. As far as the use cases are concerned, it's just a way to get a few more art slots. There's really nothing else I would ever use it for, except for maybe I don't know, getting a theater square, 2 more culture on its adjacency bonus, but that's about it. One case where this is actually kind of good is on Christina, though, because Christina will auto-theme her wonders that have more than, I forget if it's 1 or 2 great work slots. So for that reason, since this one has 4, she will auto-theme whenever it's full, and you will actually get significant tourism out of it if you're playing Christina. So if you're playing Christina, this wonder is actually pretty alright, but for anyone else, it's just objectively, its benefit or its value for the cost is absolutely terrible, and objectively, you probably shouldn't build it, but I still find myself building it all the time just because, if I'm able to, really, it's kind of like, why not? As long as I have an art museum built already in that city, then I really have no problem building this wonder, so I still do anyways. Another thing, though, is that its difficulty rating is pretty low. I'm going to give it a 2 in difficulty. So on Deity, the AI, they occasionally like to build Hermitage, but not that often, which is kind of surprising because it does have pretty easy building requirements. So, you know, normally the ones that have easy building requirements get stolen by the AI, but that's not really the case with Hermitage. Maybe they too realize that it's just really not that worth it in terms of production cost, so they avoid it or something. But yeah, you generally don't have to rush for Hermitage, and you can be kind of relaxed with building it. But if you're too relaxed, they will build it. So that's why I gave it a 2 instead of a 1. But either way, it's not super crazy to build on Deity. And as far as its consistency rating is concerned, I think that it deserves a 4. I mean, it is consistent in that it always gives you 4, great work slots. One thing that might be variable based on the game is how much you need those great work slots, because if you don't have your art museums filled yet, then there's really no point. Like, you literally should not put wonders or great works in Hermitage if you have art museums open, just because you can theme the art museums, but you can't theme Hermitage. I guess that's a little bit of a blanket statement that isn't totally true, but because if you put two great works from the same artist in the same art museum, then they will lose a bit of their culture and tourism. But that's not the case with Hermitage, so maybe that's a case. But, generally a blanket statement. If you have art museum slots open and you can still build art museums, don't even bother with Hermitage, because the bonuses that it gives you are literally meaningless if you already have, other places that you can put your great works of art. So that was a bit of a long tangent, but that's why it gets a 4, because for the most part, it has consistent bonuses, but sometimes those bonuses are literally worthless if you have other places to put your art anyways. So that was kind of a bit of a roast on Hermitage, but really it is just an objectively terrible wonder. So thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for some more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.